Evening all, welcome back to Starbound. Right, now, you observant among you will notice that I've cheated here. So let's just move beyond the cheat. I had to restart. You may remember from the second video that I was trying to kind of get enough fuel to get back to the Alpha Quadrant. That took me 2 hours to get 20 bits of coal, and that didn't even get me to the next moon. So I'm afraid I gave up and I've started again. Don't hurt me for that. Don't blame me for that. You know, I tried. I really did. So I created a new character, and what we see here is the beginnings of the progression rather of a beginner character. So what we've done here is we've been able to build a pickaxe, a stone pickaxe, stone axe, a bow and arrow, and blah blah blah. Now that's pretty much where it begins. Don't worry, there are guns in this. There's even mechs in this. Seriously, this is why I think it's such a good game. Now a lot of you I think will be relatively quote dismissive of this game because it looks. Well, it looks a bit like Mario and, you know, StarCraft had a baby and then that baby came out and was, like, covered in shit. It's not that bad, seriously. I think it's going to be a very, very big game because it is procedurally generated. That's probably one of the nicest things about games that I think is just so rare now, is that they get it right. So there's millions and millions of different worlds and moons and planets and bases and blah, 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 blah. So that's pretty cool. Also the tech tree is pretty good as well because, to be honest with you, there's a huge amount of technology here. I'm using a bow and arrow at the moment, so I'm a robot using a bow and arrow, which just completely makes no sense. But what you then get is sniper rifles, laser rifles, plasma cannons. It literally becomes a huge, upgrading kind of game. And it's like Terraria and others. Obviously, it's come from the same ilk. And the fact is that, you know, you do then get addicted to the upgrade. So, you know, at the moment, what we're doing is we're literally just starting. So I'm looking for food at the moment because apparently robots need to eat. I'm trying to think of a reason why. Maybe they need alcohol. I like the idea that, you know, Bender had to use alcohol. That made sense because obviously it kept rust away. I thought it was quite funny. But anyway, I don't know. So you need to eat still. So there we go. So we're killing animals with a bow and arrow to get sustenance, I think is the way to put it. Again, I think, to be honest, this is a very, very unusual game. It's a real grower because you find yourself at the starting points like this where you're needing to find wood, you're needing to gather resources and so on, and then all of a sudden you find something. Maybe you come across a secret chest, maybe you find, like here I'm finding copper, and all of a sudden you've gone from stone to copper, and then you're thinking, wow, this copper suit looks amazing. Shame every time I get hit by lightning it blows my brain out. But then all of a sudden you then realize, oh, there's iron here, look, there's silver here, let's mine that. And it does become a very pleasant upgrade thing. So your little, you know, every game is always based upon the pleasure response you get in your brain. So in EVE or in World of Warcraft or something like that is when you unlock or you win something or you find something or you get a particular piece of loot. This game is no different. The loot is exceptionally varied. So there's millions of different things that you can find and gain benefit from that will give you that kind of upgraded. The biomes are pretty cool as well now. Now this is one thing I really quite like. I'm currently on kind of a tundra planet, but there's also foresty bits like this that then go into, you know, I guess you'd call it snowy bits like that you just saw there. So that's pretty cool. I really like that there is this kind of variety. And it's not just along the surface of the planet. And again, all we're looking at the moment is the surface of the planet. What we then will do once we've got good mining gear is we go into the planet and start to accrue resources. And that's when the game becomes quite an interesting, you know, endeavor, because you then start to be able to build more, do more things, have better armor, and so on. There's also random encounters. So here we see, that's an avian chick. An avian obviously means bird. And so that's a bird. That was a crap joke, I know. But anyway, so you come across random stuff like this. So all of a sudden you're like, well, what are they doing there? And you find random buildings, you find lost complexes, you find castles, robotic castles. It's a really cool game. Seriously, I do hope that people, you know, don't dismiss this game too readily. It isn't actually that bad. One of the things I think I'd say about it is that it's one of the games that you'd look at it and immediately go, oh, it looks a bit crap. But probably then 3 hours would pass and you'd be like, oh my god, I just found a sword that shoots lightning. Or I've just found a sword that sets my target on fire. Or I've just found a pistol that, you know, you see how it goes. It literally is that kind of thing. There's a full day-night cycle as well, so obviously we'll start to show that. But to be honest, I am pretty much in love with this game, so you can't stop me doing videos on it. I don't care if no one watches them, I love it. And yeah, the wonderful thing about it as well is that, you know, you do have this kind of persistent mechanic of a ship in orbit. No game, I'm trying to rack my brain now, but I'm pretty much confident in my statement that no game has ever done an orbiting ship that can move from planet to planet, and it's almost like your mothership. I'm confident in that. Tell me if I've got that wrong. You got things like Homeworld. That's probably where it came, maybe as close. But Homeworld was a linear RTS. It wasn't. It was a rail RTS almost. It wasn't an open world sandbox like this is. So I think it would have been nice to have seen maybe the Homeworld, I guess, model in maybe more of a kind of persistent sandbox. That would have been quite interesting, wouldn't it? Anyway, so here we go. So now we've got a relatively okie dokie pickaxe. What we're going to do is we're going to start digging down. Now, this is what I would call a elevator in Terraria. It's just literally a place where you can just jump all the way down into the core of the planet without too much risk. But there we go, look at that. A goodie found already, so, you know, not bad. That was actually a crap axe, but the chest isn't a bad thing, so we'll keep that. But again, the beauty of the game is that you can just find yourself, you know, surveying worlds on the surface. You can then go and find yourself doing stuff deep within the bowels of the planet. And the beauty of this game as well is that the biomes change as you go down. So, for example, we were digging around a planet which was looking like a dead moon, and then lo and behold, we broke into an organic chamber. So the inside of this moon was actually alive, and it was like filled with poisons. It was filled with flesh and bone. It was bizarre. And we'll show you that because I actually did record that. And that's the beauty of this game. So all of a sudden you can come from a kind of snowy biome here where we're digging through ice and snow, etc. And all of a sudden you'll break into, you know, almost like a swamp or something like that. You know, it's pretty cool, I must admit. Hopefully people are getting it, because I think the game is odd to look at. I've got to admit, it's an odd looking game. Oh, here we go. Now that is why you explore a tech, and that's a brilliant bit of tech. So, you know, admittedly, starting a new character meant I lost my tech, but I don't mind because I've just got a really good tech item there. And what you do is you just literally, you know, use it to plug it into your noggin, and then you're away. So here we go. There's a great example. We've actually broken into a poisoned biome, which isn't good. But what we do need to do is we do need to harvest cobblestones, because we need stones for furnaces and things like that. So here we go. Now again, mining is not actually that, you know, ball-breakingly boring. I know people look at these things and say, I don't want to mine. People have always had this negativity around Minecraft because it's like, you know, people think mining is just such a stupid, pointless thing to do. But I would say actually it's very therapeutic. I think if you want a game to relax you, because we all play games pretty much for a leisure activity, you know, I think people should enjoy and embrace the relaxation that a game can bring. It's funny, I was talking to somebody in Dust about this, and Dust is one of these games that, quite frankly, doesn't really relax you. It excites you. It does everything from a point of view of it entertains you, excites you. It probably gives you that feeling of accomplishment, which is great. But I wouldn't probably ever say that Dust relaxes anyone. You don't sit there and say, no, I'll just have a sit back with my glass of wine and my cigar, and I'm just going to go and have a few rounds of killing noobs. I don't think it works that way. Whereas a game like this, certainly after a hard day, or certainly when you're kind of feeling like you just want to just casually, you know, engage your mind in something, I think games like this is where these kind of games come in. And I'm a big believer that games enhance your mood as well. So if you're in a bit of a bad mood to begin with and you go and play Dust, chances are, or a shooter of any kind, chances are you're going to be screaming and effing and jeffing at your screen. So just bear that in mind. But if you're in a good mood, if you're in a happy mood, then you're probably not. If you're in a kind of pretty crappy mood because you've had like a really bad day and you're just kind of fed up, this is where I think games like this come in, because there is something nice about the kind of casual gathering of resources. It's not a kind of taxing, brain aching game. It's not a Twitch-based shoot game either. So it is quite enjoyable all around. And obviously we love gravel as well, because gravel means we can mine super fast. But then there you go. So I think, you know, certainly this is the rebirth of our Starbound character. I know I had to start a new character. That is kind of cheating, but hey, hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.